Morning all. Happy Saturday. No, I am not wearing the reverse retro of the Islanders. Can't you see that? The stripes aren't backwards. The right colors though. Anyways, starting off with some news about NHL owners and GMs. And I'm going to agree with Mike Johnson on this from TSN that there are definitely going to be probably some different arguments made by a general manager about which division you want to be in rather than owners. Owners are going to be looking at travel costs. They're going to be looking at TV. They're going to say, all right, so if we have teams that are outside of our time zone, the ratings aren't going to be very high. If we aren't up against our normal rivals, the ratings aren't going to be as high. Whereas the general manager, your thought process is which division gives us the best chance to win. So, a bit of a competing scenario, and some owners are unhappy with the realignment as it stands. And so, I mean, it's necessary. It's likely there's some owners going, well, why can't we just leave it the way it is? And it's probably having to be explained to them a little bit that the border's closed. To which I could see an owner saying, just people in general saying, well, we'll just wait till the border opens, which we don't know when the border's going to open. So it is as it is for this year. You have to think for next season we'll be back to regular divisions. We'll see what happens. So I also wanted to put up here too, because we're a month and a day away from their target date. And I'm already hearing a lot of, well, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I mean, just out in the media kind of thing. But remember, July 13th, they announced the return to play for the playoffs. And it was August 1st that the game started. And I remember at the time we looked at that and went, that's way too fast. That is way too fast. These guys haven't played since March. That's insane. And yet it happened, and the hockey was pretty darn good. So they need to announce something, absolutely. I think they're close. I think the fact that we're talking about, well, the owners aren't necessarily all that happy, but a realignment tells you that they are close to making an official announcement. They just want to make sure that they're not going to announce it, take it to the union, take it to the Board of Governors, and have it get defeated. They want to make sure it's going to get 100% of the way through the process rather than have to go back and start all over again, which is a PR nightmare. Now, there was a minor trade yesterday, and I thought, man, I could fire up the camera and talk about this huge trade, but I thought I'd wait till today. Timashov, who does not have a contract currently, gets traded to the New York Islanders in exchange for future considerations to the Detroit Red Wings. It's a pretty big deal. Future considerations has been traded a lot. I mean, this guy has been around the league for as long as I've watched hockey. Future considerations very often gets traded in deals like this, and I think this kid's definitely got a future. And I say kid, even though he's been around for that long, because he's been traded for Timashov. So future considerations, good news. Maybe I'll do a video at some point on how many times future considerations has been traded, because it's a lot. Anyway, so future considerations to Detroit in exchange for Timashov. Look for Timashov to sign probably league minimum with the Islanders. He's a depth player, so depth player picked up by the Islanders. The World Junior rosters have been announced and are in the process of being announced, and the teams look stacked. They really do. I'm anxious to see this and see how this works out. The American team looks pretty good. The Canadian team looks excellent. John Beecher didn't make the American team because he tested positive for COVID. So you test positive, you're not in the tournament. It's been happening with the Swedish team, a few cases. And so we're going to see how this goes throughout this tournament. Also, speaking of international tournaments, international flavor of hockey, Doug Armstrong, the general manager of the St. Louis Blues, is going to be the general manager, reportedly, according to Pierre Lebrun, of Canada's 2022 Olympic team. And of course, this is contingent on the 2022 Olympics still going forward as expected and all that. But that adds another layer to what they're trying to do now. So the 2020-2021 season, which is just going to start in 2021, right? You want to get that done by July, and then you want to start next season in October, ideally. And then you have a 2-week shutdown for the Olympics. This honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I understand that it's in the CBA and that the players want to go. I would be very surprised if we get a regular Olympics in 2022 because the world's going to take a while to get caught up with everything. And for the NHL, that 2 week shutdown, I mean, it's important to play. I love Olympic hockey. Don't get me wrong. I do. Olympic hockey's fantastic. But for a league that's going to be trying to recover some income, the Olympics don't really generate the money for the NHL. That's part of the reason they stepped out. They don't make money on being the Olympics. And of course, that's something that the Olympics themselves have basically told the NHL, all right, we'll start letting you guys make some money off appearances in the Olympics, but I don't know that it's going to be enough to offset potential losses. So that's where I wonder if there's going to be an issue between the union and ownership. If you're looking forward to Nick Robertson playing for the Canadian team at the World Juniors starting on Christmas Day, I have some disappointing news. He is not going to be released for the World Junior Championship. So the Leafs decided not to release him. And there's two reasons. One, teams will decide against releasing a player because they don't want to see him get hurt in the tournament. And two, training camps are supposed to start while this tournament is still going on. So players will miss the start of training camp. They'll have to go into isolation after coming out of this and go through all the safety protocols, and they're not going to be up to speed. So this tells me that Robertson is expected to be a regular in the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year, or at the very least, he's going to play a lot. So if you're Robertson, this is good news, as much as you'd like to play for your home country, because this means the Leafs have plans to keep him around and use him. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.